So what is the number one priority in your household? Is it the kids or is it the relationship? I've seen a lot of where the parents that put the kids first. Everything is based on the kids. We can't have date night. The kids have this. The kids do everything. And they don't even go away for a weekend without the kids.
Yeah, there's these terms, helicopter parents. We've got basically people who
Tiger moms
overbook their schedules. A lot of times when we're talking with men, they're like, there's just not enough time. I feel worn out. We've got something this weekend. We've got to divvy it up so she can take one kid to one thing and another kid to another thing. It's just like there's a reason that men a lot of times feel like Uber drivers.
My son 1 year wanted to do football, baseball, and soccer in the fall. And I remember telling him, pick two. And I was never so grateful when he decided to let soccer go, because that was year round. That shit never ended. He was on a competitive team. And the reality is we as parents have to give that kind of input that you can't do 5 things during the school year. And we make our kids too busy where they can't ever just relax and be and play. And
that's a great point right there. Hold on just a second. Let's stop down just a moment to let that sink in. If you're feeling exhausted, what are your kids feeling?
Well, and we get so busy, we're giving little kids our phone and tablets and getting them looking at screens for hours a day instead of letting them be kids, letting them play, and because we don't have time. And
well, and so then the conversation becomes, well, what about their socialization? What about having activities? What about exercise? And what about all of these things? So this kind of like starts to bleed into all of the supposed tos, right? All of the stories that we tell ourselves about how life should be or must be in order for everybody to be happy. But we just established that you're worn out and that your kids aren't actually being able to be kids.
Growing up, my bike carried me so far from home. If my mom would have known, she would have stroked out. I knew what time dinner was. I knew what time I needed to be home. And as long as I was out with friends playing, nobody cared what I was doing.
Right.
And guess what I wasn't doing? Anything wrong. Right. I was having fun. I was being a kid. We played softball. We played football in the fall. We played stickball all the time. And we rode bikes all over the place. I had an Atari at one point. I remember Pong. I remember the Pong. And I got to be a kid. I did play Little League baseball. I played CYO basketball. There was a swim team briefly, but when you train for one type of stroke and the coach puts you in another one, you do get your parents to say, yeah, when you tell them, I don't want to do this anymore, they go, okay. But I wasn't overcommitted to a bunch of stuff.
And that's important, right? So the word overcommitted, right? We have this term, overserved, if you go to a place that serves alcohol. And we can be overcommitted. We can be undercommitted. We can be undercommitted to ourselves, undercommitted to our relationship, undercommitted to the romance in our relationship. We can be undercommitted to our own personal happiness.
If you are overcommitted to being busy, you are undercommitted to your relationship. Because in the ideal situation, I would say 1 long vacation a week and 2 weekends away with your partner. That's without kids. And not everyone can afford that. I get that. But there needs to be a weekend away or 2. We see men and couples go, well, we can't do date night. Bullshit. It's not a priority to you because you don't realize that it is actually killing your marriage by not having it. And by putting the kids first. And for men, I would argue it should be yourself first. Bug on the back of my neck. Yourself first, your wife next, or your partner, then the kids. Because if you have a healthy, thriving, loving relationship, who benefits the most after mom and dad?
A lot of times you'll hear men say, well, we're staying together because of the kids.
You're harming your kids.
Okay, well, if that's true, then why not schedule date night? Why not take one or more activities off the calendar so that you're not running around wearing yourselves out, being frustrated, exasperated, exhausted? If it's really about ensuring the best for the kids, then don't wait until the relationship is on its ragged edge and implodes. Be healthy.
And it's not a zero-sum game. So much like date night, you need one night a week, one afternoon activity with your buddies. And very often we hear, well, I can't do that. Well, again, we know that's not true. But so you start doing it. We have wives who will shame them. What about me? And then they get to, even if you create the time, sometimes then they don't take advantage of it. They don't go out. And they may complain. They may try to shame you. And that's okay. If you're doing the right thing, you don't have to accept that. And you could just say, you've got Friday nights that you can go out.
And you can just say, yes, it is nice. And just leave it at that.
So I had a man, he had 2 daughters. So every Wednesday, I think it was date night with the wife. The next Wednesday was date night with the daughters, daddy-daughter date night, then wife, then daughters. And the first handful of times, she never made plans on her night that was free. Because that was her night when he had the girls. Now, you could get frustrated, you could do all that, but what he figured out was she was busy and just not looking ahead and prioritizing herself. So what he started to do was make suggestions. On the Sunday, he goes, hey, I've got the girls on Wednesday night. If you're thinking maybe paddleboarding or something with your friends, the weather's going to be perfect, because he's looked at the forecast. And she'd go, oh, that's right, that's coming up. And then she'd start, and he got her into the habit, and he didn't tell her to make plans. But he just kind of was like, hey, it's daddy-daughter date night Wednesday. I'm going to be gone. You got the night to yourself. Sparked the thought. Boom. Then she started getting into that. And so you can do all of it. It's not a zero-sum game. And quite honestly, you can make excuses for why you can't, or you can do what needs to be done and prioritize yourself. You can have excuses or results. You can't. They're mutually exclusive.
So here's how you're going to prioritize yourself right now. Here's how you're going to take action to make changes in your life so that you can experience something different, so that you can have a healthier relationship, so that you can stop being exhausted and hopefully avoid divorce. There's a link in the description below. Click that link. Reach out to us. Set up a call. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what's going on in your world. And we're not going to tell you what to do or what you shouldn't do or help you plan your calendar, but we are going to listen, ask questions, and help you surface your own answers so that you can create the life that you want to live.
And that's the key. You have to be intentional about creating what you want. All right, brothers. Love you guys. Have a great day.